Good evening, everyone, and welcome to high school baseball here on WJTS 18. Tonight, the Jasper Wildcats at Southridge to take on the Raiders here at League Stadium. The Raiders 10-12 after falling to Mount Vernon on Thursday night, 11-9. Jasper comes in at 19-4 after their 6-3 victory on Wednesday against Evansville North. Andrew Noblet, a sophomore right-hander on the hill for the Wildcats. He'll be opposed by Southridge junior right-hander Mick Ubalor. Beautiful night out here at League Stadium. We'll take a break. We'll come back with the opening pitch. Jasper Southridge right after this. Welcome back to Huntingburg League Stadium for Jasper and Southridge here this evening. Taking a look at the starting lineups. First for the visiting Jasper High School. Leading off and playing shortstop will be Ben Hankey. Cody Morton will bat second and play second. Connor Foley bats third at third. Chris Hettinger cleans up in right field. Drew Bradley is the catcher. Will Wallace will bat sixth for the Wildcats. He'll be the DH hitting for Andrew Noblet, the pitcher. Matthew Wright bats seventh at first base. Ryan Like in center field, batting eighth. Jack Albrand is the left fielder and batting ninth. Again for the Wildcats, Hankey at short, Morton at second. Foley is at the three-hole, Hettinger in right, Bradley behind the plate, Wallace the DH, Wright at first, Leakin and center, and Jack Albrand is the left fielder. The starting lineup for the Southridge Raiders. They bat this way. Leading off in center field is Carter Whitehead. Batting second, the designated hitter, Caden Nykum. He'll hit for the left fielder, Brayson Foose. Mick Ubalor bats third and pitches. Hudson Allen cleans up at short. Carson Niehaus is in right field. Trey Van Meter will bat sixth and play third. Keaton Allen bats seventh at first base. Blake Taylor behind the plate batting eighth, and Tate Whitehead is the second baseman. Again for Gene Mattingly's Charges, Whitehead in center, that's Carter. Nykum, the designated hitter. Ubalor pitching. Allen at short. Niehaus in right. Van Meter at third. Keaton Allen is at first base. And Blake Taylor behind the plate, and Tate Whitehead is at second. Again, beautiful night here at League Stadium. Game time temperature, 36 degrees. The wind out of the north-northeast at 6 miles per hour. And the feel-like temperature is 86 degrees. So the Raiders take their places behind Mick Ubalor. The Raiders in the home-standing white, powered by Adidas and EI Sports, the official supplier of Southridge Athletics and our WBDC crew tonight as well. Terry Gobert goes on the coaching line at third. Jason Albrand over at first as Ben Hankey gets ready to stand in here tonight at League Stadium. The Wildcats in their traveling gray uniforms with black hats. Ubalor ready to fire the first pitch. It's on the way. Fastball right down central for a strike. We're off and running here at League Stadium. Brian LaRoche behind the plate. Stan Vollmer umpiring at first base. The 0-1 to Hankey, slammed right up through the middle for a base hit, and the Wildcats have their leadoff man on here in the top of the first inning. That'll bring up Cody Morton, the Wildcat second baseman. So Morton gets in with the runner at first base. 385 to dead center field here at League Stadium. 320 down both lines. They hold the runner on at first. The pitch is in for a strike, 0-1 to Morton. Foose, Whitehead, and Niehaus in that outfield. Van Meter, Hudson Allen, Tate Whitehead, and Keaton Allen. The infield third to first. Blake Taylor behind the plate. Mick comes to the belt, brings it home. Ball gets away from Taylor. Didn't block it, and down to second base goes Ben Hankey on the pass ball. So the Wildcats already have a runner in scoring position here for Cody Morton. Wildcat slugger behind, or actually in the on-deck circle, Connor Foley. He's playing third tonight. Ubalor throws it to Morton. He lofts it down the right field line, twisting toward the line, going over his Niehaus, makes a running catch, tagging up his second, is Hankey. He's in at third with just one out. So Niehaus ran a long way, made the catch, but he was going away from the play, and that allowed Hankey to go up to third base. So here comes Connor Foley. He has terrorized Southern Indiana pitching all season long. Foley at .462, 3 homers and 22 knocked in. The first pitch is out of the zone to Foley. He's usually good for 3 or 4 hits a night. Big right-handed batter. Ubelor throws a fastball that's high, 2-0. Glad you could join us tonight here on WBDC and later on at 10 p.m. on 18 WJTS TV if you want to check it out later. The 2-0 now. Fastball to Connor, high and tight. He's ahead of the count, 3-0. Ubelor trying to battle back. And he pumps it in there for a strike, 3-1. So Hankey's down at third. The 3-1 to Foley. Rifled back into the screen and up on the roof. Both teams with big games tomorrow. Southridge with a couple. They'll play Providence and then North Posey. Jasper plays county rival Forest Park, who just won the blue chip. The payoff pitch to Foley. Breaking ball hit him. So runners on the corners here for the Wildcats with one gone. That'll bring up Chris Hettinger, the cleanup man for the Cats. Just a slight breeze out toward left field. Nothing that will alter a baseball here. Again, a beautiful night. The humidity down a bit. This one hammered into left field for a base hit. Hankey will score. Foley takes the big turn at second base. The Cats lead 1-0 on the RBI single by Chris Hettinger. So with one down, Drew Bradley will come to the plate. Second hit of the game for the Cats yields the first run. So Bradley, the junior backstop, gets in. Raiders have that double play situation all around the infield to force out at every infield base. They hold Foley on at second a bit. They throw to Bradley. It dives low, a fastball, 1-0. And Raiders with 2 out here tomorrow starting at noon. Jasper Forest Park play at 1 over in Ferdinand. Rangers are on a roll as well. The 1-0 from Mick as he checks the runner and brings it home. Good fastball outside corner, misses now. Taylor's throw gets into right field. He tried to backpick the guy at first base, and the Cats have runners at second and third on the first Raider error of the game. So second and third with one gone for Drew Bradley. Cats lead 1-0 here in the visitor first. Ubelor back to the full wind. He'll bring it home. Pitch goes high with a fastball. 3-0. Fans continue to come into the ballpark tonight on a beautiful night for baseball. Next pitch. In for a strike, 3-1. I know a lot of fans, these two coaches, they propose playing a couple times a year. Back-to-back weeks on Friday, once here at League, once at Rooksor Field, playing so many random games where no fans show up. The 3-1. Lined in the right field, down the line. That's going to be extra bases for Bradley. It 2 hops the fence. 1 run will score. Here comes another, and Bradley drops anchor at second base with a 2 RBI double. And the Wildcats get back on the board. It's 3-0. Bradley knocks in a pair. And that'll bring up the designated hitter for Jasper, Will Wallace. So Andrew Noblet's going to have a cushion to go out in the bottom half of the first inning here. Just depends on how much. So Wallace, the DH, a right-handed hitter. Step out. Now Jubelor reconnects with the League Stadium mound. Field looks good tonight. Here's the pitch. It is outside. So 1-0, Jubelor trying to put the brakes on this Wildcat first. Jubelor stares in, gets the side from Blake Taylor, and turns it loose. High fastball. 2-0. Mick's been working behind these hitters here so far. Next pitch. That goes low. So 3-0 to Hettinger. Matt Wright waits on deck. Plateward. Strike at the letters to Wallace. 3-1, runner at second base. Cats on top 3-0 here in the top of the first inning. Jubelor checks the runner at second and fires. Walked him. So Mick has hit a guy and walked a guy here in the first. For Matthew Wright, Travis Lamar going out to talk to his right-hander. Travis later on this summer will manage the DuBois County Bombers once again, and they've got a ton of local guys on their team and looking for another big year in the OVL. Travis will be piloting that team. So Wright will stand in when the conference continues, or wraps up, I should say. Cats occupy that first base dugout over there. Raiders in their customary third base dwellings. So Travis being hurried along by the home plate umpire. So Matthew Wright gets in. First and second Wildcats. 3 across here in the first for Jasper. The pitch low along the knees for a strike. 0-1. So Mick works out ahead of Wright. Keaton will hold the runner on at first. They keep the guy close at second as well. Mick Jubelor fires. Line drive into center field, and it'll get down for a base hit. Whitehead tried to dive for it. It squirts away from him. There's going to be a play back in, and it's up the line, and the Cats lead 4-0 on the RBI base hit for Wright as Lucas Tim comes in to score the fourth run of the game. Kersey running for Bradley. It's second and third. Tim had to wait a little bit to see if Whitehead would come up with that ball. He did not. He dove for it. Fourth hit of the inning so far, and here comes Ryan Like. Fires it and fouls it back into the screen. Like plays center field. Jack Albrand, the left fielder, on deck. Pitch is in for a strike. Got a message from Coach Peters in California. Coach Mack in Youngstown, where the Northern Kentucky Noors playing softball in their conference tournament, I believe. Ball popped up right side. Keaton Allen behind the first base bag makes the play. So Coach McHugh not able to be at the game tonight, doing more important things, watching Kendall McHugh play a little softball. So that's a big out right there, recorded by the Raider defense and Mick. And Jack Albrand will stand in. Second and third for the Cats here. 4 across here in the top of the first. Albrand, the left fielder. Jubelor back to the full wind. Got some bugs flying around his head. Took his hat off and just tried to spray him away. So Mick looks in. Fires it. Fastball misses outside. 4 runs on 4 hits so far here in the first for the Cats on the Collett auction scoreboard. Jubelor pushes home. High fastball, it's 2-0. Driving that pitch count up here early. Out at third, Wallace. At second, Matthew Wright. The 2-0 offering. Strike at the knees, good pitch by Mick, and it's 2-1. Play off the line and left and right with Foose and Niehaus. Straight away, Whitehead in center. Mick stares in, gets the side from Blake Taylor, and goes with the 2-1. Nice breaking ball outside Black for a strike. Buckled Allbrand at the plate. Now it's 2-2. Raiders looking to get out of this inning, get the bats going. Cats trying to add on here. Big pitch here by Mick, the break even. Allbrand punches it into shallow right. In comes Niehaus. Out goes Tate Whitehead, and it's Tate Whitehead making the play in shallow right field. But the Cats send 9 guys to the plate here in the top of the first. They lead Southridge 4-0 on the Collett auction scoreboard. We'll take a break, and we'll have more right after this. Back to Huntingburg League Stadium. Raiders down 4-0 to the Jasper Wildcats. Right-hander Andrew Noblet, a sophomore on the hill for Jasper. He's backed by Jack Allbrand in left, Ryan Leik in center, Chris Hettinger in right, Foley, Hankey, Morton in right, the infield Drew Bradley behind the plate. So Andrew Noblet will face Carter Whitehead, Caden Nykum, and Mick Jubelor, 1, 2, and 3 in the Raiders order. Whitehead gets in from the right side. He gets ready for the first pitch as well. This one hit right up the middle, into center field for a base hit. So the Raider first starts just like the Wildcat first with a base hit into center field. First pitch, first hit of the game for the Raider 9. That'll bring up Caden Nykum. Gene Mattingly on the coaching line at third. Jason Barnett over at first base tonight for the Raiders. 4-0. Wildcats here on the bottom of the first. Nykum hitting for Foose, the left fielder. Nykum gets in, right-handed hitter. Takes a fastball high. 1-0. Noblet works out of the stretch, obviously, for the first time tonight. Whitehead, good speed at first base, takes the lead. Wright holds him on the pitch plateward. Nykum bunts it right at first base. He slipped, tries to beat Nykum to the bag, safe. Infield base hit. As Wright went to field it, he kind of slipped back and tried to keep his balance and then had to beat Nykum to the bag and could not do so. So first and second. Nykum bunted it right at the first baseman with Foley charging. He bunted it right away from him. And here comes Mick Jubelor. So already 6 hits in this game through the first inning, or half inning. Jubelor in the 3-hole for the Raiders. Noblet in a stretch position. Looks at the runner at second and throws it. A fastball misses outside. Cats have the double play in order at every infield base as well. They shade Jubelor toward left center field. Big gap in right center between Leik and Hettinger. So time called here momentarily for some reason. No, what exactly is happening? Gene Mattingly walking back to the Raider dugout. And Aubrey Block's going to go out to take a look at Caden Nykum. He kind of dove into first base, and I don't know if a little blood or something as he walks towards Aubrey up the first base line and get that wrapped up maybe, or where it's not visible. So Southridge with some action here on the bases, trailing 4-0 in the bottom of the first inning on a picture-perfect night here at League Stadium. A huge crowd on hand for this ball game. Noblet and Drew Bradley talk it over out near the mound as well. So Jasper scored 4 in the first. Southridge trying to answer back. So the situation with Nycombe has been resolved, and Aubrey Block, the sensational trainer of the Raiders, she's fixed a lot of stuff with Southridge Athletics. Keeps those guys on the field. Luke Maringer, Jared Brosmer, the medical people for Jasper as well throughout the season, with Danny Rogers and Rodney Crawford helping out as well. So medical-wise, both teams in good shape. The 1-0 pitch. It's outside, 2-0. So Jubelor bats from the left side, first and second. They hold the runner out at first, keep an eye on the runner out at second. Noblet brings it home. Fastball misses inside portion. It's 3-0. See if Jubelor is taking here. Noblet throws it. Strike right down the middle. It's 3-1. Now the fun part starts. Both for Noblet and for Mick Jubelor, his counterpart. Raider runners at first and second. Mick digs back in from the left side. Bat cocked back behind his ear. Noblet checks the runner and fires it home. Big swing and a miss. Comes up empty, and the count runs full at 3-2. 4-0 Wildcats here on the home first, but the Raiders with first and second and nobody out. Noblet trying to make a pitch here. Jubelor trying to do something with that said pitch. The payoff. Mick fouls it off third base side toward the cafe area. You got the Bombers' big suite down there, down the left field line, that elevated suite for the Bombers games. It's a good view of the game. Got a broadcast down there one of these days. Don't like to be too far away from home plate, though. 3-2, nobody out, runner at first and second. Mick waits, Noblet throws it. Ball four. First three Raiders have reached base here. Get these back in a hurry if you're Southridge, and here comes Hudson Allen, the shortstop for the Raiders. Evan McLean will run at first base for Mick Jubelor. As a courtesy runner, you get the pitchers and catchers off the bases in a courtesy runner situation. Obviously, they can come back in. So McLean at first, Nycombe at second, and Carter Whitehead at third. Raiders trying to get on the board here. Noblet throws it to Hudson. Ball gets back to the screen off Bradley's glove, and the Raiders get on the board as Whitehead scurries home with the first run of the game for Southridge on the pass ball. That hit off Bradley's glove. Now it's second and third with nobody out. So the Raiders battling back after Jasper jumped on him with a 4 spot, and Hudson Allen trying to draw him even closer. The 2-0, or now it's, 1-1, okay. 1-1, nobody out. 4-1 Cats. Hudson Allen at the plate. Raider runners at second and third. Nycombe at third. McLean out at second base. Noblet brings it. Hudson Allen hits it on the ground to Hankey. It's short. He will throw across the first base, and the run comes in to score. It's 4-2 on the RBI ground out by Hudson Allen. McLean with the play right in front of him stayed on second base. And Hudson Allen drives in a run. 4-2. Let's have a slugfest tonight. Here comes Carson Niehaus. Try to pick up McLean out there. 6 hits already in this ball game. 4-2 Jasper, 4-2 on the hits as well. Fastball at the knees to Carson. Trey Van Meter, the third baseman for the Raiders, waits on deck. So a 2-out base runner out at second for Southridge. 4-2 Cats. Noblet works with an 0-1 count to the Raider right fielder, Carson Niehaus. Throws it home into the dirt, gets away from Bradley up the first base line. McLean stays at second base. 1-1. Niehaus steadies the bat across the league stadium plate. Noblet to the high set, comes home. This one punched on the ground toward Morton at second. He will vacuum it up and throw on to first to Matthew Wright to retire the side, but not, no, actually 2 outs. My mistake. 2 outs. Up to third goes McLean. So with 2 away. Here comes Trey Van Meter. So he'll have a chance to drive in McLean from third base. Keaton Allen on deck for the Raiders. Noblet throws it. Van Meter tardy, and it's 0-1. Noblet out of the stretch. And we'll deal the 0-1. Van Meter pops it into left center field, but right at Ryan Like, and he makes the catch for the third out of the inning. Wildcats retire the Raiders, but not before Southridge picks up a 2 spot here in the home half of the first through 1 on the College Auction scoreboard. Jasper 4, Raiders 2. We'll step aside and have more baseball right after this. Back to League Stadium, 4-2 Wildcats as we head to the top of the second inning. Wildcats sent 9 to the plate against McUbelor, scored 4 runs on 4 hits. Here comes Ben Hankey. He scored one of those runs on a base hit as well. So Mick will throw the first pitch of the second. Hard biting, breaking ball in for a strike. It's 0-1 to the Wildcats shortstop. Cody Morton and Connor Foley will bat here in the top of the second. Ubelor drops and drives the 0-1. It skips into the dirt, 58-footer, and it's 1-1. Again, sectional action over the Memorial Day weekend. Both Jasper and Southridge drew byes in their sectional. Skied into center field. Carter Whitehead turns out there in center field a couple of different times and hauls in the fly ball from Ben Hankey. Again, it's 385 to dead center. That ball jumped out there to Whitehead in a hurry. Jasper will play their semifinals in 4A on Memorial Day Saturday, as I think a youngster has been harmed behind me. Southridge plays in their semifinal bye game on Monday at Princeton. Check swing by Morton fouls it off. It's 0-1. So both the Raiders and Jasper would need just one game to get into the finals of their respective sectionals. Southridge will play Gibson Southern around 1:30 on Memorial Day. Check swing by Morton. It's a strike. He's down 0-2. Jasper will play on Saturday, Memorial Day weekend, about 2 o'clock at Bosse Field against the Harrison Warriors. 0-2, 4-2 our score. Cats on top. Here's the next pitch to Morton. Shallow center. Once again, Carter Whitehead drifts over towards right field just a tad. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. 2 up, 2 down for Ubelor and the Raider defense against the Wildcat bats here. Water. Yeah. Connor Foley stands in. He was hit by a pitch and later came around to score one of those 4 runs for the Cats. This will be a big 3 up, 3 down inning for Ubelor if he can get it. Ball dives low. It's 1-0. Okay. Thank you. 1-0 pitch to Connor. That's low. 2 outs, nobody aboard here in the top of the second inning. Jasper at the plate here at League Stadium, up 4-2 over Southridge. The kick and the deal. Foley pops it back into left. Brayson Foose just turns and runs out near the warning track, gets up near the wall, and he makes the catch on the warning track right in front of the fence at the 365 mark in the power alley. Good work by Brayson Foose in left field. That's a nice catch. Cats retired in order. Here in the second, we'll head to the home second. Jasper 4, Raiders 2 on the College Auction scoreboard. We'll step aside and have more after this. Kurt Guxall back at League Stadium. Celia back at the WBDC Command Center. Jeremy Marcos on our video for WJTS. Game will air later on tonight at 10. Keaton Allen stands in for the Raiders. Southridge answered Jasper's 4 with 2 of their own back in the bottom half of the first inning. Keaton Allen slashes it foul, third base side over the dugout. Again, these are fun games. 2 DuBois County rivals. Of course, Southridge, the champs in 3A last year. Jasper in 4A. Allen, line drive, center field for a base hit. He went and took it right back through the middle. And the Raiders pick up a base hit, third of the game. Of course, on back-to-back games at Victory Field on that Tuesday night up there at Victory Field, all those fans. And even more impressive was that semi-state day, that Saturday at Rooksor Field when it was about 120 degrees. And Southridge played first, beat Brebeuf and Michael Dukanich. As Blake Taylor stands in, they throw over, Keaton Allen back. And the Wildcats just dismantled Mount Vernon of Hancock County. But that was a fun day. Rooksor was jumping, and it was really, really cool. Taylor at the plate. He's going to bunt. Bunts at first base side, beauty. Noblet off the mound, first base side, throws on to right, and Blake Taylor does his job. The sacrifice is successful, and up the second base goes Keaton Allen. So here comes freshman second baseman Tate Whitehead. Whitehead, right-handed hitter, 4-2 Wildcats here in the second. Whitehead comes in from the right side. Fastball tails outside, is 1-0. Check the runner at second. Noblet sends it home. It's a fastball high, 2-0. And the Cats with Forest Park tomorrow. That'll be a dandy. Raiders with 2 out here at League Stadium starting at noon. Providence, then North Posey. The Vikings, good team this year in that 2A sectional. 2-0 delivery. Fastball at the knees for a strike. Good pitch by Andrew, and it's 2-1 here to Tate Whitehead. Carter Whitehead is on deck. Foley behind the bag and off the line at third. They look in on Keaton Allen out at second. And Noblet deals the 2-1. That is low. It's 3-1. Whitehead trying to get on, but if you're the Wildcats, you don't want to mess around with the 9-hole hitter. Noblet has walked one so far. The 3-1. Whitehead punches it into shallow left, but right at Jack Albrand. He'll make the play. 2 away. And Carter Whitehead will stand in. He singled and scored back in that 2-run first for the Raiders. 4-2, Cats on top, bottom of 2 here on the College Auction scoreboard. Noblet in the stretch with 2 away. The right-handed hitting Carter Whitehead stands in. Noblet will peek out at the runner and throw the first pitch at this at-bat. A hammer-breaking ball in for a strike. It's 0-1. 2 away. Runner at second for Southridge. Play him straight away in the outfield. Rather shallow as well. Noblet pours the 0-1. Curveball into the dirt. Bradley can't locate it, and it's back to the screen, and up the third base goes Keaton Allen. In the last week of the regular season. Next week, we'll have Southridge on the road. Tuesday at Boonville on WBDC. Wednesday on WBDC at Northeast DuBois. Friday night here against Evansville North. 1-1. Pitch on the way. That is high. 2-1. Carter Whitehead. Trying to deliver a big 2-out hit and bring the Raiders closer. Noblet throws it. Line drive, left field, base hit. That will drive in Keaton Allen, and the lead is 4-3 as a big base hit by Carter Whitehead, and the Raiders get back on the board. 4-3. Fourth Raiders safety of the evening, and Brian Kirchhoff, the Wildcat pitching coach, comes out to chat. Collett Auctions is the area's trusted online and live auction professionals. Collett Auctions can do estate sales, property, real estate, coins, guns, and farm machinery, just to name a few. If you want to list your home, Judd Collett is a licensed real estate broker with FC Tucker MG Realtors. He will help you buy or sell a home. Call 812-630-2660 for all your auction and real estate situations. And Collett Auctions is our scoreboard sponsor as well here on WBDC Raider Baseball throughout the season. So BK, the former head coach of the Northeast DuBois Jeeps and the Heritage Hills Patriots, now the Wildcat pitching coach, strolls back to the first base dugout. 2 gone here. Andrew Noblet will deal with Caden Nykum, who dropped down a perfect bunt that he was sacrificing. Right kind of slipped, and Nykum beat him to the bag. Whitehead, good speed at first base. He's not opposed to trying to swipe a bag either. Nykum slightly open at the plate from the right side. Bat back behind his ear, wiggles it a little bit, and here's the pitch from Noblet into the dirt. And Bradley dug it out. Whitehead, adventurous over there, took off towards second, then went right back. It's a decent lead over there. Wright holds him on. Mick Ubelor waits on deck for the Raider 9. The 1-0. Nykum fouls it back into Bradley's glove. Jasper 4, Southridge 3, bottom of 2 here at League Stadium on a beautiful night for high school baseball. Throw over, back in time with the dive. The fans and the players and everybody involved has earned a night like tonight after all the horrible weather that they've endured throughout this baseball season. I know it's probably bad every spring, but it was just insane earlier this month. Pitch low to Mick. And it is 2-1. Here's the next pitch. Ball, line drive into right field. Hedinger goes toward the line and makes the catch for the third out of the inning. But the Raiders get one back here in the home second through 2 on the Collett Auction scoreboard. Jasper 4, Raiders 3. We're back with more after this. Ballpark 4-3. Wildcats lead. Mick Ubelor out for inning number 3. He'll face Chris Hedinger, Drew Bradley, and Will Wallace. Getting back to the weather. Good buddy Ryan Reynolds at the Evansville Courier, who is also a high school baseball coach in Evansville, tweeted last week at one point, today is the 54th day of Indiana high school baseball season. In the tri-state, there's been rain 35 of those 54 days. Of 19 rain-free days, 6 were Sundays when you can't play or practice, so 34 rainy days out of 47 available for practice and games. And he said this spring, expletive, ... after that. So, yes, it's been bad. Here comes Chris Hedinger. Takes first pitch in for a ball, 1-0. So that basically sums up the high school baseball season, softball, track, golf, tennis, whatever you got outside. But tonight, it's on the way to making things up for it. Hedinger singled and scored earlier, knocking in a run. Ubelor throws the 1-0. He hits it on the ground in the hole between third and short for a base hit. Hedinger is 2 for 2. And the Wildcats have their leadoff man on for the second time in the 3 innings so far against Ubelor. The 5th hit of the game for the Wildcats. Here comes Drew Bradley. He knocked home 2 in that 4-run first with a 2 RBI double. Van Meter off the line and even with the bag at third. I think Bradley's going to lay one down, but you never know. Ubelor pours it plateward, breaking ball inside. He misses. 1-0. So a lot of baseball will be played by these two teams and everybody else next week heading into the sectional. 1-0, runner at first. Pitch to Bradley. Curveball misses. It's 2-0. Cats have out-hit the Raiders 5-4. Lead on the board 4-3. Eubelor the 2-0 to the Wildcat backstop. Bradley fisted foul over the roof here at Historic League Stadium. It's kind of a shame getting back to the sectional. I mean, I'm not talking bad about any other place or places. Just throwing out as an example as they throw over. In 2A League Stadium, or, well, actually in 2A, it doesn't involve any of the local teams other than Forest Park. As Eubelor brings it home, he gets Bradley to swing and miss. But in 3A, League Stadium is sitting empty come sectional time. And in 4A, Jasper's Rooksor Field sitting empty. So they spread it around, and that's fine too. But baseball, you kind of like the good venues. The 2-2 into the dirt, gets away from Taylor. That'll allow Hettinger to go up to second base. Taylor fires it down there anyway, so a wild pitch and a 3-2 count. Now, Rockport, a long-time host, and Coach Keister and his crew do a great job on that field down there. They are not playing there either in 2A. Drew Bradley with a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Eubelor brings it. Fouls it off. Bradley stays alive. Will Wallace is the designated hitter. He'll wait on deck. Cats on top 4-3. Second baseman Whitehead in behind Hettinger just a bit. Go back to his position on the pitch plateward, and time is called. Bradley steps out. Granted that time by home plate arbiter Brian LaRoche. And Bradley gets back in. Runner out at second base, that's Hettinger. Eubelor checks him once and comes home. Bradley scorches it foul past the backside of Terry Gobert on the coaching line at third. It ricochets off the fence down the right field line. Goes out to left, and Brayson Foose will pick it up. 3-2 and holding to the Wildcat catcher, Drew Bradley. So we'll try that pitch again. Hold the runner on at second base. Momentarily. Eubelor throws it again. Bradley pops it back down the left field line. Foose will chase that toward the corner, and it's up against the wall. Rounding third is Hettinger, and then at second base is Drew Bradley with his second double of the night. He's knocked in 3 runs with that 2-double night so far, and the Cats lead now 5-3. Bradley hit that one off the base of the wall down the left field line as Foose chased it into the corner. Lucas Tim will run at second base. Sixth hit of the game for the Wildcats, and it's 5-4. And here comes Will Wallace with nobody out. He slams it into left. Foose will go over toward the gap once again, and Brayson runs it down. He's been busy tonight. He's done a nice job of chasing balls down. One away. It's a hard hit ball out there off the bat of Wallace. Terry Gobert will take that every time. Here comes Matt Wright. He singled home a run as well. Still another one out there. Cats on top 5-3 here in the top of the third from League Stadium. One away. Eubelor still operating out of the stretch position. Curve ball, good one, and Wright just waves at it. 0-1 here to the hitter Matthew Wright. Eubelor checks the runner. Twice, brings it home. Outside, backhanded by Taylor. Tim's going to try to run up the third base, and he does. The ball popped out of Taylor's glove. Raiders just giving up too many bases here on things that they probably shouldn't be giving them up on. Jasper very aggressive. Their deal is if it's in the dirt, if it's out of the catcher's glove, they're moving up. Here's Wright. Now a chance to move the bat and drive that run in from third. And he takes a shot toward right field and fouls it off. So Mick got ahead 1-2. This would be a big guy to get via the strikeout and keep that guy at third. Mick looks in. Blake Taylor hangs the sign. Ubelor in agreement and brings it home. Got him. Struck him out on a high fastball. Good pitch by Mick. Got him to climb the ladder. He wasn't going to mess around getting too much of the plate, and he got right the chase. Mick gets his first strikeout, and here comes Ryan Like. Runner still at third. Like, little safety squeeze bunt, and he fouls it off. Tim getting a good jump down the line. He courtesy runs for Drew Bradley. Jack Albrand waits on deck. Oh, and 1. Ubelor will fire it. Missed outside. That's a good pitch. A really good pitch. 1-1. Terry Gilbert asks for Like to come down and talk it over here. 5-3. Raiders trail. Jasper with a 2-run lead. Wildcats got one back. Hettinger singled. Bradley doubled to deep left field to drive in another run. The 1-1. Fastball, that catches the outside corner, so Like down on the count 1-2. 5-3 Jasper. Ubelor trying to make a pitch and get out of this inning. Like trying to drive in the 6th run of the game. Good battle here, the 1-2. And Ubelor struck him out. Second strikeout here in this inning. Wildcats get 1 here in the top of the 3rd through 2.5 on the College Auction scoreboard. Jasper on top of Southridge 5-3. We'll break and come back with more after this. Huntingburg League Stadium. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. Jasper on top 5-3. They got another run back last half inning. 3, 4, and 5 for Gene Mattingly's crew. Mick Ubelor, Hudson Allen, and Carson Niehaus. So Ubelor gets in. Pitch is inside, 1-0. Ubelor walked back in the 1st inning. Raiders got 2 in the 1st. 1 more last inning. Had runs score every inning except the top of the 2nd. Ubelor smacks it into center field for a base hit. Noblet didn't get the glove down in time, and it was a hard ground ball right through the middle. The Raiders collect their 5th hit of the game. That's one thing about the weather heating up. Guys start swinging the bat better. Nobody wants to hit when it's cold. Evan McLean will courtesy run at first base. So McLean goes to run at first for Hudson Allen, who knocked in a run with an RBI ground out earlier. Hudson, right-handed batter, cleans up in the 4-hole. They throw over back in time the base runner. Bottom of the 3rd, Raiders down 2, 5-3. Jasper has the double play situation in order. Up the middle and around the horn. Foley comes in on the grass. Hudson Allen shoots it into right field. Going back on it is Hettinger. He drifts back on it. Makes the catch up near the warning track. Hudson gave it a ride the opposite field. And Hettinger turned a couple of different times to make the catch. I'll bring up Carson Niehaus. Grounded out the 2nd earlier. Good punch right there by Hud, but Hettinger able to run it down. Going back to first base is McLean. Noblet throws it home. Ball rifled back into the screen. It's 0-1. Raiders down 5-3 here in the home third. Trying to get some offense going here. Just one gone. The pause and the delivery. Hit him. Carson Niehaus coaxes the hit by pitch. And now runners are at first and second for Trey Van Meter, who flew out to center field earlier. So first and second for the Raiders. One down for Van Meter. Noblet looks at the runner at second, throws it home. Fastball outside corner called strike. Snap throw down to second base. McLean dives back. Drew Bradley throws it around a little bit and tried to get in behind Evan McLean, the courtesy runner, but Evan was right back with the dive. 5-3 Raiders. Trail Van Meter at the plate with first and second and one gone. Noblet throws it. Van Meter fouls it off first base side over Coach Barnett's head. It was down near the tarp area. And Van Meter down on the count 0-2. On deck for the Raiders, Keaton Allen. Noblet in agreement with Bradley. Noblet steps off. Playing back to second. Back to first is Niehaus. And Van Meter will have to wait for the 0-2 here momentarily. Noblet sends it home. Misses low. 1-2, good breaking pitch by Noblet. Van Meter didn't bite on it. Andrew stares in. Van Meter asks for time. Foley at third off the bag. About 10 steps. The 1-2 to Trey Van Meter. Fouls it off. Back to the screen. So 1-2. Raiders down 5-3, looking to draw back closer. First and second, they have base runners with one away here in the third. Play Van Meter straight away in the outfield. Noblet to the high set. Cuts it loose. And he hit Van Meter. And the bases are loaded. So back-to-back hit batsman for Andrew Noblet. Will load him up for Keaton Allen, who went the other way for a base hit earlier. The left-handed hitting first baseman. Raiders in a big spot right here, down 5-3 with just one out. And the bases full of white-clad Raiders. Noblet comes home. Fastball outside to Keaton. Blake Taylor waits on deck. McLean at third, Niehaus at second, Van Meter the runner at first. The 1-0. Keaton Allen airs it out. He's hit two straight guys, and Allen with a 1-0 count swings away. Now he'll be back in. Left-handed hitter. Hands held high. He's got the hole on the right side as they hold the runner on at first. Keaton takes it for a fastball, 2-1. 5-3, Raiders down. Trying to get this big hit here. Base hit, could knock in two and tie the game. The 2-1 from Noblet to Keaton Allen. High fly ball into right. Allbrand goes back. That'll be enough to chase McLean home. He tags up. And it is 5-4. Keaton Allen on the sacrifice fly. And the Raiders draw within one. The rest of the base runners stay put. Again, Keaton went the other way, and he hit it hard. So with 2 away, Blake Taylor will stand in. He dropped a perfect sacrifice bunt down earlier. 1st and 2nd for Southridge. Raiders have scored in every inning in this one. Blake takes a fastball inside corner at the knees for a strike, 0-1. Wright's playing behind the runner. Van Meter at first base. Niehaus is at second. Better worry about some pick plays, both those base runners, with Bradley back there. Here's the pitch. Sprayed foul by Blake Taylor, and he's down 0-2. Pitched a little bit in the game last night against Mount Vernon. Raiders gave up 7 runs in the 7th and fell in that game last night. 11-9 to Mount Vernon. 0-2 with 2 gone. Runners at 1st and 2nd for Southridge. Pitch to Taylor. Lays off a high fastball, and it goes to 1-2. 5-4, Southridge. Trails, but can draw even with a base hit. Be running with 2 outs. Ball chopped up the third base line, off the plate. Bradley fields it, throws on to first base. Got him by a half a step. Ball was chopped off the front of the plate up the third base line, and they were able to cut Blake Taylor down at first base. Raiders, though, draw closer. 5-4 after 3 on the Collett Auction scoreboard. We'll step aside and have more right after this. 5-4, Jasper leads Southridge as we head to the top of the 4th inning. Baseball tonight brought to you by B&A Construction and Design. For any kind of construction project you may have, give the guys and gals at B&A Construction and Design a call at 812-683-4600 or stop by and see them in those big red buildings between Jasper and Huntingburg on Highway 231. Jack Allbrand will lead things off here in the top of the 4th. Jasper clinging to a 5-4 lead. Allbrand flew out the second, his first time up, back at the top with Hankey and Morton against Mick Ubelor. He's given up 6 hits so far. Allbrand fouls it straight back. Cats scored 4 runs in the first inning and 1 last inning. Mick kept him off the board in the top of the second. The only half inning where we didn't have runs. Allbrand bunts it. Third base side of the mound. Ubelor off. Throws to first base. Good stretch by Keaton. Got it. Mick had to go off the third base side of the mound. His momentum going away from him. Strong throw. And Keaton Allen made a nice stretch out towards second base. That's what arm strength will do, because he was off on his back foot, falling away, and Ubelor sent a missile towards first base on the Allbrand bunt attempt. 1 away, back to the top, and Ben Hankey, he's 1 for 2, fouls the first pitch he sees. Back over the roof here at League Stadium, 0-1. Mick Ubelor looks in. The 0-1 delivery. Pitch is high. 1-1 to Hankey. Base is clean with 1 gone. Ubelor drops and drives the 1-1. This one misses inside. 2-1. Cats had some bullpen activity up last inning, but no more. 2-1. Mick gets a side from Taylor. The 2-1. Strike at the knees. Evens up the count at 2-2. Count squares at 2-2. Ubelor fires it. Hankey serves it on the ground, the hole between third and short, into left field past a diving Hudson Allen. A 1-out base hit for the Wildcats shortstop. He's got 2 hits on the game. And the Cats get their 7th hit of the game. Cody Morton, who flew out a couple of times, gets in. And Southridge out here with 2 tomorrow. Providence at noon. North Posey later on after the conclusion of that one. Pitch in for a strike. Got a lot of Raider baseball on the radio next week. Got Jasper and Forest Park TV-wise Sunday at 1. The game will start tomorrow afternoon at 1 from Ferdinand. Morton with an 0-1 count. Raiders have the opportunity for a double play. They throw over, back with the dive is Hankey. Got the Raiders Tuesday night at Boonville, Wednesday night at Northeast DuBois, and Friday night against the North High Huskies, who Jasper beat on Wednesday night. They're a good team. They throw over. And it's 0-1 still to Cody Morton. Connor Foley would be next. Ubelor bends at the waist, now straightens up on the League Stadium mound. Gets Morton to pop up, first base side. Ubelor calls for it up the first base line and makes the play. 2 away. Mick induced the pop up, and here comes Foley. 2 for 2 so far in the fun and games here tonight. Big right-handed hitter, 6'5". Wildcats' main starting pitcher. He'll probably work against Forest Park tomorrow. Pitched last Saturday against Carmel. Then he'll probably go in their Saturday game against Zionsville and the following Saturday against Evansville Harrison. Towards the end of the season, you get that pitching rotation the way you want it, and that's why they do the draw 3 weeks ahead of time. The 1-0. As you heard Gene Mattingly say on our pregame show on radio that Mick Ubelor will settle into that game against Gibson Southern. Mick will work late next week, either against North or Central the following day. Throw over. These two teams will have that whole week off, and you get to that point, you kind of like having the time off, get back to practicing and shore things up after you play so much if the weather's nice. The 1-1 to Connor Foley. He dots him. Mick has hit a couple of guys tonight and hit Foley right there. Now it's first and second for Chris Hedinger. Normally you would say as hot hitting as Foley is, no harm, no foul, but you got Hedinger who swings a hot bat. He's 2 for 2. Terry Gobert, that's what you want. You want somebody hitting behind Foley that can do the job, because if you don't have somebody behind him, they'll put Foley on or they'll not pitch to him. Give him much to hit. Here's the pitch to Hedinger. Curveball and a good one by Mick. It dances in for a strike, and it's 0-1. Cats lead 5-4, trying to get back on the board here in the top of the fourth. They've got base runners at first and second with 2 outs. They'll be off and running with the crack of the bat. First base Foley, at second base Ben Hankey. Hedinger, the cleanup man, waits, and Ubelor brings the 0-1 plate where a fastball that tails outside. The count squares at 1-1. Big gap in right center field between Niehaus and Carter Whitehead. Both those guys can run down a lot of stuff in the outfield. We saw Brace and Foose do the same thing out in left field earlier today. Hedinger, a big right-handed hitter. They play him deeper than normal. The 1-1 from Mick. Curveball, good one, strike 2. Hedinger couldn't pull the trigger on it. And it's 1-2 with 2 outs. See if the runners take off. Don't know. Hankey at second. Foley, they play behind him at first base. The 1-2, they stay put. Hedinger pops it into center. Carter Whitehead draws a beat on it and will come in, and he catches it with 2 hands, which is always good. And the Wildcats threaten, but come up empty here in the visitor 4 through 3.5 here at League Stadium. Jasper 5, the Raiders 4 on the College Auction scoreboard. We'll take a break, and this is high school baseball on WBDC and 18 WJTS. I'm Kirk Gooksell. Celia back at the WBDC Command Center. Jeremy Marcos on our video with 18 WJTS. The game will air later on tonight on TV if you want to catch some specific plays that you heard here tonight. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Tate Whitehead, the 9-hole hitter. Carter Whitehead and Caden Nykum. 9-1-2 for Gene Mattingly and the Southridge Raiders. Whitehead flew out to left earlier. First pitch from Andrew Noblet. This one down the left field line. It's going to drop for a base hit in front of Jack Albrand. Whitehead takes the big turn at first base, and he puts on the brakes, and a leadoff single for the Raiders here in the bottom of the fourth from Tate Whitehead. 6th of the game for the Raiders tonight. And here comes Carter Whitehead, who's got 2 of those hits and an RBI in the game. Wildcat bullpen starts to get loose down the right field line. 5-4, Raiders trail, but once again, traffic on the bases this time in the bottom of the fourth. Line drive into center field. In comes Like, and he makes the catch. He was playing awfully shallow for Carter Whitehead, and Whitehead hit on the screws, but right at Ryan Like. One gone. Didn't move him up with the bunt, and now the runner at first base, and Brian Kirchhoff back to the mound to talk about the situation here with Caden Nykum coming to the plate. Again, give the Wildcat bullpen some time out there, and it looks like we're going to have a pitching change. A call to the bullpen here at League Stadium. 5-4 Cats here in the bottom of the fourth. We'll step aside and we'll tell you about the new Wildcat hurdler right after this. League Stadium, the call to the bullpen. Maverick Merkel on for the Wildcats. The end of the line for Andrew Noblet. He went 3 1/3 of 6 hit, 4 run baseball. Walked 1, hit 2. He's responsible for the base runner at first base, Tate Whitehead. So Maverick Merkel on for the Cats. He'll face Caden Nykum here for the Raiders. 5-4 Cats here in the bottom of the fourth, but the Raiders have the tying run on at first base. Cats have the double play in order. Nykum 1 for 2. The throw over back in time is Tate. Will Wallace will get up to throw. Andrew playing for Franklin College after playing for the state champion Cats last year. Pitch on the way. Fouled off. Cats has some guys in college. Southridge, too. It's neat to see pictures from Ann Arbor last week. Tucker Shank with IU and Camden Gasser with the Michigan Wolverines. They posted. That was pretty cool. 0-1. Nykum takes it low. Of course, Colson Montgomery in Class A with Kannapolis, the Cannonballers. Single A affiliate of the White Sox. He's been out with a minor injury, but nothing serious. He'll be back soon. The 1-1 with the runner at first. Nykum pops it into left center. Jack Albrand goes over towards the gap and high points it, makes the catch for the second out of the inning. So 2 away, the runner's still at first base, and that will leave things up to Mick Ubalor, tonight's starting pitcher. 5-4 Raiders down by 1. Grant Stratton, who was 13-0 on the mound for the 4A state champs, is in his freshman year at Wabash. He'll play for the DuBois County Bombers. Southridge guys playing for the Bombers as well. Ethan Bell and Keaton Allen, or not Keaton Allen, Wes Allen. Chase Taylor's listed on that roster. They added Drew Howard, who's a senior at Forest Park. He'll play for the Bombers. He's heading to U of E. Play for West Carroll, that crew. First place in the MVC, speaking of the Aces. Here's the pitch. Ball slashed into left field for a base hit as Ubalor goes the other way. It's first and second with 2 gone for the Raiders. Ubalor, a couple of base hits. He went the other way. First hit given up by Maverick Merkel since coming on in the 7th. Safety of the game for the Raiders. And Evan McLean back on a courtesy run. He's been busy as Ubalor has reached base all 3 times tonight. So they get the pitcher off the bases, and here comes Hudson Allen with 2 outs with runners at first and second for the Raiders. Bradley out to talk it over with Merkel. Carson Niehaus runs and gets the gloves from Coach Barnett accumulated. If you're a first base coach, you get a lot of things. You get some batting gloves, you get some shin guards sometimes, knee guard, or instep guards, a little bit of everything if you're a first base coach throughout the game. 5-4 Raiders down by 1, threatening here in the home fourth. Hudson Allen stands in. He grounded out, knocking in a run, and also flew out deep to right field to Chris Hettinger his last time up. First time facing Merkel, pops it up, left center field, going over his Like. Waits for it to come down and catches it for the third out of the inning. Raiders get some traffic on the bases. They come up empty in the 4th through 4. 5-4. Raiders trail. Jasper will break and come back with more on the College Action scoreboard right after this. We're back on for another inning. 5-4, Cats on top. Hits tied at 7 apiece. 2 up for Terry Gobert's bunch. Drew Bradley, Will Wallace, and Matthew Wright for the Cats. Bradley's been a terror against the Raiders tonight. Couple of doubles, 3 RBIs, and a run scored. So Drew Bradley leads things off, bats with the bases clean here. First pitch from Mick Ubelor into the dirt. Ryan LaRoche spun out of there. So did Blake Taylor. Well, those catchers, umpires, they take all kinds of abuse back there with batted balls and stuff like that. The 1-0, low. 2-0. These guys take care of each other. The catchers, umpires. Umpires love having those catchers back there that can catch the ball. And catchers like umpires that call a good game back there. The 2-0, that's in for a strike in the low portion of the strike zone. It's 2-1. Van Meter off the line and behind the bag at third. Behind the bag at Keaton Allen at first base and off the line as well with nobody on and nobody out. Pitches outside to Bradley. Now he's ahead in this count, 3-1. Cats lead 5-4 here at Huntingburg League Stadium. Big gap in right center field. Here's the next pitch. Bradley pops it up right field. Going over toward the line, Carson Niehaus into foul territory with a running catch. 1 away. Better have some outfielders here at League Stadium. Big, spacious ballpark, 385 to dead center, 320s down the line. The power alleys, 365. Will Wallace gets in. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Ubelor, the Raider pitcher, sends it home. This ball punched into left field for a base hit between third and short. Wallace with a base hit. 8th hit of the game for the Wildcats. And here comes Matthew Wright, who's 1 for 2 with an RBI single to his credit tonight. A lot of coaching news in the county this week. Drew Messmer, the new head basketball coach of the Rangers. Understand Southridge will have a new coach by next Thursday that they will name. They've taken a name to the board. The 1-0, you want to get that done so you can have your summer all set up. This pitch is in for a strike. A lot of jobs open. Dave Mahurin taking over at Lincoln. Boonville hired Jeremy Willis to take over after Austin Brooks went to rights. The 1-1 to Matthew Wright. He hits it into left field. In comes Brayson Foose, and it'll drop in front of him. Punches it in there. Foose was deep with Wright, and that ball just dove into the ground on a bloop single by Wright. 9th hit of the game for the Wildcats. Now first and second with 1 gone. Ryan Like will be the hitter. He is 0 for 2. Cats lead 5-4 here in the top of the 5th. Great DuBois County baseball matchup here at historic Huntingburg League Stadium. Beautiful night, big crowd. Glad you could join us. Like drops down a bunt but fouls it off. Took off running before he actually got it into the grass. Jack Albrand waits on deck for the Wildcats. Terry Gobert says put the bat out in front of the plate, and that usually does it. First and second, 1 away. Cats have out hit the Raiders 9-7. Lead on the board 5-4. Raiders try to get out of this inning with a double play ball. Like bats from the right side. Plays center field. The 0-1 pitch from Mick Ubelor. Tries a bunt again. Pulls the bat back and takes it for a ball. So it's 1-1 to the Wildcats center fielder. Van Meter even with the bag, maybe charging hard from third base. They hold the runner on at first with Keaton Allen. comes the pitch from Ubelor. Like bunts, pulls the bat back again. Blake Taylor blocks it. 2-1. So the Cats trying to get some insurance here in a tight ball game. They led after a half inning, 4-0. Raiders battle back with 2 in the bottom half of the first inning. Scored 1 in the third. Or 1 in the second and 1 in the third, I should say. It's 5-4 here. Pitch. Misses outside. It's 3-1. So a lot of options here for Ryan Like and Terry Gilbert with runners at first and second. 3-1 count with 1 gone. Like stares out at Mick. Mick back into him. Fires the 3-1. Like squares the bunt into the dirt. Ball 4. The bases are full of Wildcats here. So Ubelor walks his second. To go along with a hit batsman. Here comes Jack Albrand. Bunted back to the mound, and Ubelor got off the mound and made a nice throw to first base. Bases loaded, Mick back to the full wide. With 1 away, deals with Albrand. Inside. Runner at third, Wallace. See if Albrand decides to lay one down here. Safety squeeze, ball in the grass. Wallace takes off and gets down the line. Albrand does bunt, pulls the bat back, and he takes it for a strike. Cats like to do that. You put that ball down in the grass and the guy gets a good break towards from third, you'll get that run in, no matter where that ball is bunted. If it's in the grass, key is the jump at third and the ball in the grass. The 1-1 with 1 away, the bases loaded. Albrand waits. He's going to square and bunt. Bunts it down the third baseline, foul. Started in fair, and it just trickled foul. So the base is still loaded, 1 away, 1-2 to Albrand. Ubelor trying to make a pitch here. Bases loaded. 5-4 Jasper here in the top of the 5th. Ubelor peeks in. Long look to Blake Taylor. Mick is ready, and the 1-2 to Jack Albrand. Inside corner for a ball, 2-2. Well, this is an action pitch right here. Bases loaded, 2-2 with 1 gone. The left-handed hitting Albrand digs in. Ubelor winds and fires. Albrand pops it up in the infield. Keaton Allen calls for it out near first. Makes the one-handed catch, second out of the inning. Well, that was a big pitch by Mick. He induced the pop fly in the infield. Here comes Ben Hankey, who's 2 for 3. 5-4 Cats lead here on the top of the 5th inning from League Stadium. So Hankey will bat from the right side. Runners will be off with the crack of the bat. Something the gap could clean them off. Ubelor working from the full stretch, or full windup, I should say, with the runners at every base and 2 outs. Hankey asks for time, and it's granted. A lot of times the umpires don't have to grant you time, but if it's not too far down the line and the pitcher being ready, they'll give you that timeout call. Ubelor looks in and will deal the first pitch to Hankey. Shallow right field for a base hit. He dumps it in there. Here comes Carson Niehaus. He's going to throw towards the plate, and they cut the throw, and the runner's safe. He drives in 2. Now the runners move up to second and third. I don't know if they do not cut that throw, they might have cut down the second base runner out there. But nevertheless, 2 runs coming to score on the 2 RBI single by Ben Hankey. He goes up to second on the throw back in. Like stops at third. And it's 7-4. So a 2 RBI base hit for Ben Hankey. Cats' 10th hit of the game. And 2 more across to make it 7-4. Talk about that all the time. Big 2-out hits. Here comes Cody Morton. He's 0 for 3 with runners at second and third. Mick trying to put the brakes on this right now, and Morton trying to increase that lead. It's low, 1-0. Ubelor. A long look toward home plate. Morton will wait. Curveball high. Morton heading off to Danville Area College in Danville, Illinois, junior college, a good junior college program. He's got his signing on Monday with the sister Kylie, dual signing at JHS with her going to junior college softball at Spoon River in Illinois. Morton pops it back deep into left field. Foose turns his back to the infield. It is over his head up near the warning track. 1 run will score. Here comes another. And in with the triple is Cody Morton. A 2 RBI triple deep to left field. And it is 9-4 Wildcats. As Hankey and also Like score. 11th hit of the game for the Wildcats. 2 more runs on the board, and back-to-back 2 RBI base hits. Hankey with 1 and then Cody Morton with 1. Here comes Connor Foley. He's been hit a couple of times and also flew out to left field. Got hit 3 times. The Wildcat fans not at all happy, but if you know Mick Ubelor, he does not have a mean bone in his body. That's about the last thing you wanted to do in this situation. So Foley hit 3 times, and Hedinger, the 9th guy to bat here. Gene Madison go out and talk to the home plate umpire Brian LaRoche, who went out to talk to Ubelor. And Gene's kind of saying that Connor was up hanging over the plate. Terry Gilbert going to get in on the conversation as well. So 1st and 3rd. There's sometimes you want to get in on somebody or get into somebody that's mouthing off and hit them, but that's not the case with Mick, and Connor's not saying anything. They don't put up with that in that program, so that just slipped. Ball gets away from Taylor, runs trying to try to come in from 3rd, and he does. He comes in standing up. They throw him behind the runner at second base. He's getting back in there as well. The ball got away from Taylor. Raiders late covering the plate, and it is 10-4. Things starting to unravel a bit. Foley goes down to second base. And Gene Mattingly's going to come out and talk it over. And we may have a pitching change here. I don't think the guy's ready yet. Mattingly stopped. So it's 1-0 to Hedinger. The 9th guy to bat here in this top of the 5th. It is 10-4. Cats with 5 across here in this frame. Here's a delivery. Fastball misses outside. So Ubelor trying to get out of this. It's 2-0 to Hedinger. One of those big Jasper bats. He's got 2 hits tonight. Cats with 11 hits on the game. They've out hit the Raiders 11-7. Ubelor, nice breaking ball. Good pitch by Mick, and it's 2-1. Hedinger has singled twice, scored 2, knocked in a run, and flew out to center field. The pitch. Outside 3-1. On deck, Drew Bradley. Certainly like to get Hedinger here if you're Mick Ubelor. 10-4. This has escalated in a hurry. Cats up by 6. Ubelor comes with a pause and brings it home. Curveball and a good one. Strike 2. This is always, again, a fun matchup. 2 coaches that respect each other, 2 programs that respect each other. little different. They don't play in the tournament. You know, the rivalry escalates, speaking of that word again, when you can have a chance to knock each other out of a tournament. That's just the bottom line. Now, we all fantasize and look back at the old days of county rivalries and this and that. Some of these rivalries are just not the same. The 3-2. Hedinger pops it up. Good pitch by Hubler out near the second base bag. Hudson Allen will wait for it to come down and make the catch for the third out of the inning, but not before the Cats sent 9 guys to the plate here in the top of the 5th. They lead Southridge 10-4 on the College Auction scoreboard. We'll step aside and we'll come back after this. Stadium play goes to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Maverick Merkel on for his first full inning after Andrew Noblin went 3 1/3 for the Cats. Carson Niehaus, Trey Van Meter, and Keaton Allen to bat here for the Raiders. Again, Jasper broke the game open with 5 in the top half of this inning. It's now 10-4. It was a 5-4 ball game. Cats with 11 hits, Raiders with 7. Niehaus will stand in. He had been hit by a pitch earlier. 5-hit batsman between the two teams. Niehaus swings and misses, and it is 0-1. Big healthy cut by the Raider right fielder, Carson Niehaus. Pitch fouled away. Oh, and 2. Merkel winds and fires. Curveball, line drive, center field for a base hit off the bat of Carson Niehaus, and the Raiders have their leadoff man aboard. 8th hit of the game for Southridge, and that'll bring up Trey Van Meter. He's been hit by a pitch and also flew out to center field. Merkel throws over. Back with the dive is Carson Niehaus. Raiders with 2 out here tomorrow. Providence and North Posey. Jasper goes to Forest Park to take on the Rangers, who are off tonight. 10-4 our score. Jasper leads. Here's a pitch to Trey Van Meter. It's high. Snap throw down to first base. Back again with the dive is Carson Niehaus. We're keeping an eye on him. Raiders bat here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Keaton Allen will be next for the Raiders. Here's a delivery. Strike at the knees to Van Meter. 1-1. Raider bullpen up and running. Pitch is in for a strike. Hard to get a number from way down there and behind the pole. 1-2, but we'll tell you about the guy warming up. Van Meter down 1-2 with nobody out and a runner at first. Maverick Merkel throws it, breaking ball, hit foul. 1-2 and holding to Van Meter. Raiders trail here. 10-4 in the bottom of the 5th inning. High school baseball on a Friday night right here on WBDC and 18 WJTS. Glad you could join us for a DuBois County matchup. The 1-2. Van Meter pops it up, foul territory over the Jasper dugout. Again, going back to sure these two teams want to beat each other and it's still a DuBois County rivalry game, but they got bigger fish to fry against those teams that can knock you out of the tournament and end your season. I mean, you're talking about the guys, Jasper will play the Castles, the Centrals, and North. Southridge the same way with the Gibson Southerns, the Lincolns, and teams like that down the line. Just adds a whole different dynamic from the time that all the DuBois County teams were involved in the same sectional and all the bitterness and angst and bad blood. The 1-2 to Van Meter, the runner at first. Breaking ball, Van Meter hits it in the hole between third and short into left field for a base hit, and the Raiders have runners at first and second with nobody out. Raiders get their 9th hit of the game, the 3rd given up by Maverick Merkel since he has come on. And Keaton Allen will get in. He has singled, also had a sacrifice fly that he went the other way on. It's 10-4, Southridge down by 6. 20 hits in this ball game. Jasper with 11, the Raiders with 9. So Keaton gets in from the left side. Foley comes in on the grass off the line at third base. Here's the pitch to the Raider first baseman Keaton Allen. He takes it high, a breaking ball. One and 0. Here's the delivery. That is outside. 2-0. Raiders threatening here. Merkel brings it home. Keaton Allen punches it into left field. Allbrand charges hard. It'll drop in front of him. And the Raiders will have the bases loaded as Keaton Allen goes the other way once again. He's done that 3 times tonight. And with good success, the bases are loaded for Blake Taylor. He laid down a sacrifice bunt, then chopped one off the plate that Drew Bradley took care of. Kind of a swinging bunt. And once again, Will Wallace will start to heat up in the Raider bullpen. 10-4 Raiders down, but the bases loaded, nobody out. Merkel comes home to Taylor, fastball high. Raiders, you don't get 6 all at once. You chip away with basically 9 more outs in this one, provided you keep the Wildcats off the board. The 1-0 from Merkel to Taylor. Taylor pops it straight back. Bradley will give it a look. It's going to bounce on the netting, and it's going to come right back behind Drew, and he tried to backhand catch it as it went off the netting. You know that balls come off the roof back toward the playing surface, but that one was on top of the net that overhangs. So 1-1 the count here. With Taylor at the plate, chance to drive in a couple here. The 1-1 to the Raider backstop, takes a big swing, pulled off of it, and comes up empty. He's down 1-2. Nobody out, bases loaded. Taylor waits. Here's a pitch from Merkel, waved the pitch into the dirt. Struck out, 1 away. Merkel gets his first strikeout, and it came at a good time, and here comes Tate Whitehead, who singled earlier. 1 for 2 for Tate. Tate Whitehead gets in. Base is still loaded, this time with 1 gone. Merkel. Plate where this ball hit on the ground to Foley at third. He'll throw to second for 1. Throws it into right field for an error. 2 runs are going to come in to score, and it's 10-6. Foley threw that ball away. Overshot Morton at second base as they tried to turn 2. So Niehaus comes in to score. Van Meter comes in to score. Allen stops at second, and Whitehead aboard at first on the errant throw. First error of the game for the Cats, and it's 10-6. So still just 1 gone. Whitehead 2 for 3, and also hit a ball sharply to center that was caught by Ryan Like. First time facing Maverick Merkel. The pitch is low, 1-0 to the Raiders center fielder. Raiders get 2 back here. It's 10-6. And an opportunity for a whole lot more here. Merkel sends it home. Line drive into shallow center, but right at Like. He hit it hard again, but right at Like, who was playing him shallow to begin with, 2 away. Carter cannot be displeased with any of his 4 at-bats today, with a couple of hits and a couple of line drives into center. And here comes Caden Nykum, who is 1 for 3. 10-6, Raiders down by 4 here. Both bullpens up and running. Cats down the right field line, Raiders down the left field line. Big spot here for Caden Nykum, first and second with 2 away. Merkel, curveball, strike 1, 0-1. Mick Ubelor is on deck. He's got 2 hits. Raiders like to have him bat as well. Foley behind the bag at third if Nykum would elect to drop one down. The 1-2 here from Maverick Merkel to Caden Nykum. Back through the middle. Into center field for a base hit. Rounding third, the base runner likes throw back in. It's up the first base line. Bradley can't control it. Now the runner's going to try to go up the third, and he is out. Whitehead tried to go first to third, but the Raiders do pick up the run as Keaton Allen comes in on the RBI single by Caden Nykum. Ball got away from Bradley on the throw in, but Tate was cut down at third. The Raiders get 3 more on the board, and it's 10-7 in favor of Jasper after 5 complete on the College Auction scoreboard. We'll take a break, and we'll come back after this. The call to the pen for Gene Mattingly and the Raider pitching staff. It's the end of the line for Mick Ubelor, and Cody Giesler is on to pitch for Southridge. Ubelor 5 innings of 11 hit, 10-run baseball, struck out 2, hit 3, and walked 2. So Giesler on here in the 6th. Raiders were down 10-4 heading into that bottom half of the 5th inning, but tallied 3 against the Wildcats, and Mick Ubelor will go to first base now for the Raiders. And Giesler is on. He'll face for the Wildcats here Bradley, Wallace, and Matthew Wright. 10-7, our score, 21 hits in this one. Well, Bradley, a couple of doubles and 3 RBIs, flew out the right field as well. So Cody Giesler on for Southridge. Pitching here for the Raiders. Drew Bradley gets in for the Cats here. Base is clean, nobody out. Giesler exclusively from the stretch, even with nobody on. Sidewinder in there for a strike to Drew Bradley. Gap in right center field for the Wildcat backstop. The 0-1 from Giesler. Misses. Wildcat bullpen dark as well. Back and forth a little bit in this one. Raiders have scored in every inning except the 4th. Cats have been kept off the board a couple of times in half innings, but they've scored 4 runs and then 5 in the top of the 5th. So both teams with a 5 spot, or Raiders with 3 in the bottom of the 5th, I should say. Jasper 5 in the top of the 5th. So Bradley down in the count 1-2 against Giesler, facing him for the first time. Raider right-hander throws it inside. It's 2-2. Foose still out and left. In center, Whitehead in right, Niehaus. Van Meter, Hudson Allen, Tate Whitehead, and Mick Ubelor, or actually Keaton Allen is at first base. So Mick came out of the game altogether. Can re-enter to bat. 2-2. Rally stays alive. Raider young infield. Van Meter a sophomore, Hudson Allen a sophomore, Tate Whitehead a freshman, and Keaton Allen a sophomore at first. Behind the plate, Blake Taylor. Raiders will have some different guys that they'll mix in next year in the outfield. And all this is interchangeable, movable parts with a lot of these guys in the infield pitching and whatnot. And just a very fluid situation depending on who's on the mound and who can hit. Pitch is outside. 3-2. So Giesler runs the count full. To Drew Bradley. Trying to retire the leadoff man here in the top of the 6th to keep it a 3-run deficit. This is a big shutdown inning here. Perhaps for Cody Giesler. Play Bradley straight away and fairly deep in the outfield with nobody on and nobody out. The payoff pitch to the Wildcat catcher. Bradley scorches it foul past Terry Gobert on the coaching line at third as it rattles around in the Raider bullpen. So we got a 3-2 count and holding to Drew Bradley. The pause by Giesler before he throws it. Bradley hits it on the ground at third. Van Meter boots it, picks it up, and puts it. No, he overthrows it. So 2 errors on 1 play by Van Meter as the ball gets out of play. 2 errors, the bobble, and then the throw. So Lucas Tim will run at second base. Thought Trey was going to put it in his pocket, but at the last second he cut it loose. And here comes Will Wallace. So the Cats have a base runner with nobody out here. Raiders with 4 errors on the game, Cats with 2. Not exactly a clean game by either squad. And that's the thing both these coaches want to tighten up in their conversations with them, the defense. Here's the pitch. Dances in for a strike. 0-1. Bradley's going to stay at first, but that ball trickled toward the stands and was out of play, I believe, and that allowed, or they awarded him second base. The 0-1 here. Pitch in for a strike to Wallace. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. See if Cody Giesler can get a ground ball here, perhaps a strikeout with an 0-2 count to Wallace facing him for the first time tonight. 10-7, Cats on top. Here's the pitch. Runner takes off. Ball into the dirt, and they give up third base as Tim scurries in. Another one of those situations where they give up a base runner or allow a base runner to move up. Now Wallace is at the plate at the 1-2 count, a runner at third. 10-7 our score. Giesler stares in, trying to get the strikeout. Wallace trying to deliver that runner from third base. Pitch out of the zone. And it is 2-2. Again, a lot of runs, 10-7 Wildcats. Both these teams, a lot of games this week, more on the way next week. We talked about it with Coach Mattingly in our radio portion of our broadcast, just the dynamics of having to put pitchers out there. The 2-2. Wallace went, struck him out. Good pitch by Giesler. Gets the big strikeout. Keeps the runner at third base. First strikeout for Giesler, third for Raider pitching. And here comes Matt Wright, who's 2 for 3. Heavy hitting first baseman, pitched a gem against North on Wednesday night. Again, Cats needed somebody to pick him up pitching-wise against a good team. Wright pops this one up. Shallow center. Out goes Whitehead. In comes Whitehead. It's Carter making the catch. They're going to bluff a tag. They cut the throw. Good pitch by Giesler. Good play by the Raider defense, keeping the runner at third. So 2 away. Tate went out. Carter came in. Very shallow center. Tim bluffed going to score, and they would have smoked him, so he wasn't going to tag up, but he bluffed going down the line. Here comes Like for the Wildcats, 0 for 2 with the walk, trying to pick up that runner at third. Here's the pitch on the way from Giesler, waves at it. Comes up empty, it's 0-1. 10-7 Cats here in the top of the 6th from League Stadium on a picture-perfect night for baseball. Some of the shadows starting to go toward the pitcher's mound here at League Stadium. The 0-1 sails outside. So Cody Giesler, the second Raider hurler of the evening. The pause and the pitch. Blocked nicely by Taylor that time, 2-1. Got into the dirt. Raiders down 10-7, trying to keep the Cats right where they are. Cats trying to add on. Ryan Like stands in. Jack Allbrand would be next. The 2-1 from Giesler to Like. Outside corner at the black for a strike, 2-2. So 2-2 to the Jasper center fielder. Plateward. Like pounds it down the left field line, twisting foul, hooked it into the Raider bullpen. So 2-2 and holding to Ryan Like. Due up for the Raiders in the home sixth will be Mick Ubelor, Hudson Allen, and Carson Niehaus. Left fielder, third baseman this time of night, shade their eyes. 2-2 because of that sun. Yes, it is up there after it was not visible through much of this spring. 3-2 now. To Like as that pitch got away from Cody Giesler. Tim takes his lead in foul territory. Down the third base line. The payoff pitch missed outside Cody Giesler. Can't believe it, neither can Gene Mattingly. Thought that was strike three. So runners on the corners. First walk given up by Giesler. And here comes Jack Albrand, who is 0 for 3 tonight. Taylor going to go talk to his right-hander here. So Albrand will climb in first and third. He's got to be cognizant of the Wildcats trying to move that runner up to second base, ball in the dirt, whatnot. Like good speed at first base. He takes off, ball lined into center field for a base hit. Albrand delivers, and the Wildcats lead 11-7. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. So Albrand delivers the RBI single, so the 2 errors on 1 play comes back to haunt the Raiders. And at third, Like Albrand with the RBI single right through the middle. 11-7. Cats with 12 hits on the game, first given up by Giesler here, and that turns the lineup over to Ben Hankey, who's got 3 hits tonight for the Cats. Runner takes off from first into the dirt, and it's a stolen base for Albrand. Staying at third is Like. They didn't even throw down. There's no reason to. Once that ball was in the dirt, they were scurrying up towards second base. Now 2 guys in scoring position for Hankey. Cats lead now 11-7. Combined 22 hits in this one. Cats played a game earlier this season against Gibson Southern where there were 31 combined hits, 18 for the Wildcats. The 1-0 pitch. Hankey takes it low. Like is at third. Albrand is out at second base for the Cats. Cody Morton, who had a big 2 RBI double his last time up, lurks on deck. Top of the 6th, 11-7 Jasper. Cody Giesler trying to shut it off here for Southridge. Comes to the pause and throws it to Hankey. Low. And it is 3-0. Again, broadcast baseball on WBDC on Tuesday. Raiders at Boonville. Wednesday up on the hill at Northeast Du Bois. Friday night out here at League Stadium against the North High Huskies. 3-0 with 2 gone here to Hankey. He's been hot. They may give him the green light. They do not, or he does not offer at it, and he takes it for a strike, 3-1. So now second and third, Hankey ahead in the count. Runners at actually at second and third, I should say. No one at first. 3-1 to the Wildcat shortstop. Cody Giesler comes to the pause and cuts it loose. Curveball dances in for a strike. Now we got a full count at 3-2. Big pitch here for Giesler. Big at bat here for the shortstop Hankey for the Cats. Second and third, Like at third, Albrand at second. They take their leads with 3-2, the count to Hankey. Cody Giesler fires it home. Missed, ball 4. So the bases are loaded, 2 walks in the inning for Giesler. And with the bases juiced, here comes Cody Morton. He's 1 for 4, had a 2 RBI double back in the 5th. And the Wildcats hit the Raiders with 5. So Morton gets in. Takes a strike at the knees, pitched to Jem down at Lincoln on Tuesday night. That conference win for the Cats against one of their rivals. Conference rivals, SIAC now with Lincoln and Jasper, along with the Evansville schools. And Castle, the 0-1 into the dirt. Nice block by Blake Taylor, and it's 1-1 to Cody Morton. Due up for the Raiders again in the bottom of the 6th, Ubalor, Hudson Allen, and Carson Niehaus. Cats got one back. They're bucking for more here. 1-1 to Morton with Foley on deck. Giesler brings it outside corner for a strike. 0-2. 11-7. Wildcats lead by 4 here in the top of the 6th from Huntingburg League Stadium. Bases are loaded. Cody Morton at the plate. Cody Giesler out on the mound. The 1-2 to Morton. Breaking ball punched into right center field. That will get down for a base hit. Gets by Whitehead. This is going to be trouble. 1 run will score. Here comes the second. The third one will score, and it's going to be another triple for Cody Morton. So a 3 RBI extra base hit for Cody Morton, making it 14-7. As Giesler gives up the 13th hit of the game. And it is 14-7 in favor of the Wildcats. And here comes Connor Foley. So with 2 outs, they were running with the crack of the bat. Pitch is out of the zone, 0-1. Foley was hit 3 times by Mick Ubalor, facing Cody Giesler for the first time. 13 hits for the Cats and 14 runs. Foley takes it low. Morton cleaned him off. Whitehead had that ball drop in front of him, then it got by him. A do-or-die kind of situation, and that cleaned off the bases. Pitch on the way. Foley hits it on the ground to Van Meter. He gloves it, throws on to first base. Got him. Cut down Foley, barely. And the Wildcats are finally done here in the top of the 6th. They put up a 4 spot here against the Raiders. It's 14-7 after 5.5 at League Stadium on the College Auction scoreboard. We'll break and come back with more after this. Wildcats as Mick Ubalor, Hudson Allen, and Carson Niehaus will hit against Maverick Merkel. Back on for another inning of work. Noblet went the first 3 1/3, followed by Merkel. Here, Jasper with 4 in the top half of this inning to increase their lead to 14-7. Again, Jack Albrand out in left, in center, Ryan Like, Chris Hedinger. Ryan Like in center, Chris Hedinger in right. Foley, Hankey, Morton, right, and Drew Bradley behind the plate catching Merkel. So Ubalor, who left the mound, he's back in to hit here in his place in the order. It's re-entry. So we're about ready for the bottom half of the 6th. So Mick Ubalor 2 for 3 in the game. Walked his first time up and singled thereafter a couple of times. Fastball poured in there for a ball, 1-0. Outside corner for a strike to Mick, and it's 1-1. Ubalor bats from the left side, throws right-handed. Cat defense back with nobody on and nobody out. Pitch from Merkel. Big swing and a miss from Ubalor, and it's 1-2. And Cats with 4 in the first inning. Raiders have been trailing ever since. It cut it to 5-4 Heading into the top of the 5th, and Wildcats hit them with a 5 spot, and they scored 4 more in the 6th. Looking forward to the sectional for both these teams. Play a lot of games, and it comes down to that. Eubelor pops it up, foul territory, third base side. Foley gives it a look, and it'll bounce down near the cafe area. I think both these teams we talked about earlier will love that week off. Obviously, you get the bye, which is always nice. But it gives you a chance to go back to work. A lot of times you get better with a week of practice if you do what you're supposed to do and be mindful at your craft. The 2-2, and it's high, 3-2. Get a chance to rest arms, just go over situations and just get better at baseball. The 3-2 to Eubelor, ball 4. Leadoff man on here in the 6th. Eubelor, since he's not pitching, will not run. Evan McLean jumped out of the dugout thinking he's going to go after a run, but now since Eubelor is not pitching, can't courtesy run for him. Here comes Hudson Allen. Hudson 0 for 3, but does have a RBI ground out. He cleans up here for the Raiders in that 4 hole. Nobody out, runner at first. Southridge down 14-7 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pitch on the way to the Raiders shortstop is a strike at the letters. 0-1 here. Raiders trying to get back into this one a little further. They're down by 7. Good football score. Ball fouled away. That's one thing that's horrible about the Wildcats and the SIAC and the Raiders in an expanded PAC. No more football between the two schools. They've had some dandies since Southridge got good at football when Coach Hanner came, and then the Coach Murphy and the Coach Buning. It's been a really good rivalry type of situation. The 0-2, here it is. Low. Raiders won the last regular season game, or the last game between the two since they stopped playing. That was big for Southridge to have that goalpost trophy in their possession. Maybe as we move down the line and there might be a situation, kind of look like that might be the case, as Hudson Allen chops it up the middle. Hankey dives for it. It's into center field for a base hit. First and second for the Raiders with nobody out. Hudson Allen collects the 11th hit of the game for the Raiders. Looked like Lincoln was going to get out of the SIAC, and that would have made a hole in Jasper's schedule, but then you always have to have a partner, and with the expanded PAC, they had, they're kind of full. But that was always something you could hope for with that whole situation. SIAC teams would have been in trouble with, Lincoln out of it and games already scheduled. You would be down a game as Carson Niehaus stands in. It's in for a strike. But for the foreseeable future, the Raiders and the Wildcats will not play football. 0-1, nobody out. Runner at first and second for the Raiders. Down 14-7 is Southridge. Carson Niehaus at the plate. Maverick Merkel pours it. Ball chopped on the ground, and Morton takes a big hop onto second for 1. They will not relay back to first base, so runners are on the corners. They get the force out on the fielder's choice by Carson Niehaus. Took a big hop on Cody. That was not a prototypical double play ball, and Morton got the sure out at second base as he shoveled on to Hankey. Eubelor to third, and Niehaus at first for Trey Van Meter. Now they will run at first base. 10 will run for Southridge at first base for Carson Niehaus. That may give Niehaus a chance to perhaps go loosen up in the bullpen, and that's exactly what's going to happen. To perhaps pitch the 7th. And Niehaus grabs a glove, and he'll jog down there. So here comes Trey Van Meter. He singled and scored his last time up. He's 1 for 2. He was hit by a pitch earlier. Raiders down 14-7, but just one man gone here in the bottom of the sixth. A lot of runs, a lot of hits. That's what fans like to see, I guess. Merkel brings it. Van Meter takes it for a strike. It's 0-1 to the Raider third baseman tonight, Trey Van Meter. First and third for Southridge, trying to get back on the board again. They scored in every inning except the fourth. Here's the pitch. Low. 1-1 to Van Meter. Connor Foley even with the bag. And off the line at third down there. They hold the runner on at first. The 1-1 to Van Meter. Low, blocked by Bradley. Just dug it out. Formed that triangle, got down on his knees, hovered over his knees with that chest protector. 2-1 now. Van Meter's got a runner down at third. It's Hubel or Tim, the runner at first. The 3-1 to Trey. 2-1, now it's 3-1. Carson Niehaus loosens in the Raider pen. Here's the 3-1 to Van Meter. Low walked him. Niehaus did not work in that game last night. The bases are loaded with one gone for Keaton Allen. Wallace was up earlier for the Wildcats last night. Hoeing pitched, as did Evan McLean, Blake Taylor, and Van Meter. Scurrying in the Wildcat dugout. Pitch is in for a strike. 0-1. Pitch on the way. Line drive, right field by Keaton Allen. That'll drive in one run. The second one held up at third, and the bases are loaded. RBI single for Keaton Allen. He's got 3 hits on the ball game. He's starting to heat up. And the bases are full of Raiders. Hubelor comes in to score. Niehaus stops at third. And Brian Kirchhoff out to chat with Maverick Merkel, allow the man in the bullpen to get ready for perhaps coming on here. And it'll be Wallace. We will have a pitching change as Cole Trevino started to get up in the bullpen. Wallace was already ready. 14-8 our score here in the bottom of the sixth. One gone, a new Wildcat pitcher on the hill. We'll take a break, and we'll come back with more baseball right after this. Pitching change here. Will Wallace is on for Maverick Merkel. Went and hitting in a third of 7-hit 4-run baseball. Struck out one. Not walk a batter. So it's 14-8. Raiders have the bases loaded with just one gone here. Cole Trevino starts to loosen in the Wildcat bullpen. They send a guy down there. BK went out, Brian Kirchhoff, to talk it over, and I guess he made a pitching change because Wallace had been up 2 different times down there. So Will Wallace is on for the Wildcats here. Raiders trail by 6. Wallace threw in the game at Gibson Southern, that 11-4 win the Cats had on Monday night. Again, the game that featured 31 hits. Wallace gave up 5 of those hits and 1 run. Blake Taylor will bat here. Bases loaded, 1 gone, 14-8, 25 combined hits in the game. Southridge with 12 of those, so they're starting to even that up. So Taylor gets in. Here's the pitch. It's high. 10 is at third. Van Meter at second, Keaton Allen at first. Taylor, left-handed hitter. Facing Wallace, it's in for a strike. Wallace, the sophomore right-hander for the Wildcats. 1-1 with 1 away. Play behind the runner at first base. Cats looking for that double play ball. Here's the pitch to Blake, and he rifles it back into the screen. 14-8 our score. Cats up by 6. Wallace out on the mound. Comes to the high set, works from that stretch. The 1-2 to Taylor, low. 2-2. So Raiders at every base. Tate Whitehead waits on deck. Taylor, left-handed batter. The 2-2 from Wallace. Struck him out. Taylor goes down swinging for the second consecutive at bat. 2 away, big pitch by Wallace coming on. And here comes Tate Whitehead, who is 1 for 3. Whitehead stands in for the Raiders. 3 guys out on the bases looking for a big 2-out knock. Pitch high, 1-0. Trevino continues to loosen. Carson Niehaus done warming up in the Raider pen. We'll probably see him in the top of the 7th. The 1-0 pitch. That is a strike. 1-1 now. 2 away. Raiders still at the plate. They got 1 back here in this inning. Wallace wheels back towards second, and Van Meter goes back there. Raider runners at every base. Keaton Allen at first. Van Meter at second, at third. 10. Pitch inside, 2-1. Bases loaded. Will Wallace against the freshman Tate Whitehead. Whitehead fouls it off first base side. Going over is right, and he'll run out of room down near the batting cage area. Down there by the great Mike Wright, taking excellent pictures of Raider baseball. Baseball, he stays away from me to a certain extent. Basketball, he's always taking pictures of me eating, chatting. Baseball, he's usually focused on the field. The 2-2. Called third strike. Wallace gets the strikeout. Big strikeout there. Raiders leave them loaded. Here in the bottom of the 6th, they get 1 back, though. Jasper 14, Southridge 8 on the College Auction scoreboard. We'll step aside and we'll have more baseball from League Stadium after this. Top of the 7th inning, 14-8 Cats. New Raider pitcher on the hill, Carson Niehaus, is on. Giesler went 1 inning, 2 hits, 4 runs, struck out 1 and walked 2 last inning. Taking Niehaus' spot in right field is Evan McLean. He goes to play right field. Partner Whitehead still in center. Cole Decker. Brayson Foose is in left. Look at my book. Game's gone by. Third base, Van Meter still. Hudson Allen, Tate Whitehead, and Keaton Allen. In the infield, Blake Taylor is behind the plate. So Chris Hedinger will lead things off for the Cats. They try to add on, leading 14-8. Hedinger a couple of hits. He's 2 for 4. Cats have out-hit the Raiders 13-12. Hedinger hits it on the ground in the hole between third and short. Backhanded by Hudson Allen. Comes over the top and cuts down Hedinger. Good play by Hud. Backhand and threw a rocket over to first base. 1 away. Here comes Drew Bradley. He's had a big ball game. Couple of doubles, 3 RBIs. Takes it low. 1-0 here to the Wildcat catcher, Drew Bradley. Raiders in the 7th. We'll have the top of the order coming to the plate. 1, 2, and 3. Bradley hits this one a mile high into shallow right. Evan McLean comes in and makes the catch. 2 away. So the first 2 men retired by Carson Niehaus. And here comes pitcher Will Wallace. So Wallace stands in. Wallace Slightly open at the plate. He's 1 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. 0-1. Southridge 10-12 on the season. The Wildcats are 19-4, looking for win number 20. Niehaus peeks over the top of the glove and lets it fly. That is high. 2-1 here. Niehaus looking for a clean inning, which is few and far between by either of these pitching staffs tonight. The 2-1 in for a strike. We talked about earlier, all these games, you just got to build your pitching depth and see who sticks and see who you can rely on in the tournament, which you don't really need a lot of people in the tournament. The 2-2 if you're pretty good. Wallace slaps it on the ground. Hudson out, waits back on it, fields it at the bill of his hat, and throws on to Cousin Keaton at first base, and the Wildcats are gone in order. Last call for the Raiders. We head to the bottom of the 7th, 14-8 in favor of the Jasper Wildcats on the College Auction scoreboard. We'll take a break and have more after this. The League Stadium, Will Wallace on for the Cats once again, his first full inning of work in relief of Maverick Merkel. Andrew Noblet went the first 3 1/3. Raiders down 14-8. They'll have the top of the order. Carter Whitehead, Caden Nykum, and Mick Ubelor coming to the plate here. Again, this game airs later on tonight at 10 on 18 WJTS TV. Good one if you like offense. Carter Whitehead, the center fielder, gets in. Raiders again will be looking for that sectional crowd in 3A. That's down at Princeton this year. They have a turf infield. Moving that sectional around a bit. Jasper will play theirs at Bossy Field against Evansville Harrison in the bye game on Memorial Day Saturday. Raiders won't play until Memorial Day Monday. Jasper sectional goes Thursday, Saturday with the semifinals and a Monday noon start. Southridge in the Princeton sectional Wednesday, then 2 on Monday in the semifinals, and the championship game later on at Gil Hodges Field at 7 o'clock. 2-0 to Carter Whitehead. 2 singles, hit the ball hard 4 straight times tonight. Fastball from Wallace just blisters in for a called strike, 2-1. Wallace, a sophomore, he runs it up there pretty well. Next pitch on the way, and once again, Whitehead just scalds it into left field for his 3rd hit of the game. 13th Raider hit of the night. Hits are tied at 13 between the two DuBois County combatants here. And Caden Nykum will stand in. Talk about the pitching depth that you have to have. Nykum takes it for a ball. The Wildcats have used 12 pitchers so far this season. The Raiders not too far behind. Didn't print their stats out tonight. Weren't available after the game last night. Fast turnaround. But they have went through a bevy of pitchers too, which is good. You get everybody out on the mound, see what sticks, see what you can do, see who can rely on. Nykum waits, fastball at the knees for a strike. It's 1-1. 14-8 Raiders trail here, bottom of the 7th inning here at Huntingburg League Stadium. Next pitch, Nykum punches it out to second. Morton takes care of it. 1 away. Runner still at first base for Evan McLean in Ubelor's spot. So McLean will stand in. So Evan with the runner at first base. Has that hole on the right side. Bats from the left side. Bats as he throws. He does pitching for the Raiders. McLean ready, and here's the pitch. It is inside from Wallace. And it's 2-2. Hudson Allen waits on deck. Drew Bradley will go out and talk it over with Will Wallace. Our next radio game will be Tuesday night. Southridge on the road at Boonville to take on the Pioneers at Salmon Field. Next TV game on 18 will be Sunday at 1. Tomorrow's game with Forest Park for Jasper. 2-0. Inside to McLean, it's 3-0. We'll be taking down 14-8. Runner at first, here's the pitch. Wallace walks him on 4 straight. That's not exactly the recipe that Terry Gobert had drawn up for the start of the 7th inning. Here comes Hudson Allen. Hudson Allen singled his last time up. 1 for 4 in the game with an RBI ground out that chased home a run back in that 2-run first. Allen takes it for a strike, and it is 0-1. So first and second for the Raiders. McLean at first, at second base, Carter Whitehead. Wallace the stretch, pours it home, out. 1-1. Raiders down to their last at bat. 26 total hits in this affair. The 1-1 here from Wallace to Hudson Allen. A pair of sophomores dueling, and it's high 2-1. Carson Niehaus, the pitcher, is on deck. Gene Mattingly down on the coaching line at third, telling his base runners, moving on a ground ball, freeze or go back on a line drive. 2-1 from Wallace. Popped up, foul territory, first base side. Wright will have a play. A lot of room over there, and he makes the grab, 2 away. So with 2 away, here comes Carson Niehaus, trying to stave it off here. Perhaps driving a few more runs. Two away, Raider runners at first and second. Southridge down 6. Strike at the knees to Carson. It's 0-1. Oh, and 1 our count here. Niehaus digs in. Wallace brings it home. Foul back into the screen, and now Niehaus down on the count, 0-2. 0-2 with 2 away. McLean out at second. Mick Ubelor, the runner, McLean at first, runner at second. That's Carter Whitehead, I should say. Whitehead at second. McLean hitting for Ubelor's at first. 1-2 here. Pitch to Carson Niehaus from Wallace. Foul back, he stays alive. Cats hold on. They'll try to make it a clean sweep in DuBois County. They beat Northeast DuBois earlier. Raiders will play DuBois on Wednesday. Then Jasper heads in that game with Forest Park tomorrow afternoon. The 1-2 to Carson Niehaus from Wallace. High fastball misses. It's 2-2. Raiders at first and second here on the bottom of the 7th, 2 away. And Carson Niehaus, the pitcher, now on for Southridge. He is batting. The 2-2 from Wallace. Fouled off, straight back. That did not hit a car. Two and two with 2 away. Raiders trail 14-8. Wallace stares in, gets a sign from his catcher Bradley, and turns it loose. 3-2 now. The runners will be off with the pitch plateward. First and second. The pitch on the way. The runners take off. Ball hit high into right field. Hedinger drifting back on it. He'll make the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. And the ball game is over. The Jasper Wildcats pick up a 14-8 victory over the Southridge Raiders in this DuBois County rivalry game on the College Auction scoreboard. We'll take a break. We'll come back to wrap things up right after this. League Stadium. The Jasper Wildcats pick up a 14-8 win over the Southridge Raiders here tonight. 14 runs, 13 hits, 2 errors, 7 left for the Cats. 8 runs on 13 hits, 4 errors for the Raiders, and they leave 10 in this ball game. Cats jumped out to a 4-0 lead after a half, and the Raiders trailed after that. Raiders trailed only 5-4 heading into the top of the 5th, but the Wildcats hit them with a 5 spot, and that's how the game kind of got away from Southridge. The Raiders, they go to 10-13 on the season. They'll play Providence and North Posey in a pair out here tomorrow starting at noon. Jasper wins their 20th game of the season. They're 20-4. They will play county rival Forest Park tomorrow at 1. That game will air on 18 WJTS Sunday at 1. Tonight's game, by the way, will air tonight at 10. Jasper and Southridge will have Raider baseball coming your way on Tuesday night. Southridge travels to Boonville to take on the Pioneers. So that's going to wrap up our coverage here tonight from Huntingburg League Stadium. It was a fun night of baseball, atmosphere great, a lot of fans, nice evening, and both these teams will get ready for the tournament after next week in high school baseball. So that'll wrap things up. 14-8, Jasper over Southridge. For Celia back at the command center, and for Jeremy Marcos with our video, I'm Kurt Kuxel saying good night from League Stadium.